What's going on, guys? Arms Forum coming at you guys today with another video. And today's video, I'm going to be talking about a little thing that I saw on social media. Had something to do with our former teammate or former player that we all, kind of had a love-hate relationship with. And it was former defensive tackle, all-pro, NDAMUKONG SUH. Hutchinson had a pretty big play last week against the Green Bay Packers where he was rushing up the field. Saw that Aaron Rodgers was kind of backing up, read the play nicely, got out of his break, out of his pass rush, and broke for the ball and made really good timing and intercepted an Aaron Rodgers pass in the end zone. And it was a really good play. Hutch made that, number 2 overall pick. He needs to make those game-changing plays, and that was one of them. And it was on Twitter, obviously, and Aidan Hutchinson became the 4th rookie defensive lineman in team's history to record an interception. That along with guys like NDAMUKONG SUH, a guy named Jim Doran from the 1951, and a guy named Thurman McGaw from the 1950s. I don't know who those guys were. That's way before my time. Maybe my dad would know that, but apparently that those guys had a pick and they were on the D line. And then Hutchinson and Suh themselves are the only rookies in team history to log at least 4.5 sacks and a pick, an interception. So stuff like that gets noticed, and it was on Twitter. And then NDAMUKONG SUH made a comment saying, "I hope they can build around this young kid." And I've seen some backlash. Going on from not only the fan base, but I've seen other channels on YouTube kind of coming at NDAMUKONG SUH. We all remember Suh, obviously 2nd pick overall. Just a hell of a football player at Nebraska. He was a Cornhusker. He was a menace to society. Literally, he was a menace to society when he came into the NFL. Almost ripping off Jake Delhomme's head as a rookie. I remember that. Stomping on people, putting his foot in people's crotches, grabbing people's face masks, twisting them up. I remember when he grabbed Marion Barber. Rest in peace to Marion Barber, former Dallas Cowboy running back. I remember when he used to have those big long dreads, and Suh made a great play at the goal line against the Dallas Cowboys in one of the many matchups they had, they had quite a bit of matchups, I think, in Suh's tenure as a Detroit Lion, and he ended up grabbing Barber by the back of the hair and yanking him down to the ground, which is legal, by the way. And I remember we got flagged for it. I remember Suh got flagged for it, 15-yarder, one of many 15-yarders, by the way, from NDAMUKONG SUH, but. When he came into the league, he was a menace. He was an all-pro defensive tackle. He was a guy that could get to the quarterback and play the run. One of the strongest human beings I've ever seen. I've obviously never met the man in person, never shook his hand or anything. I would love to, but when you saw him going up against offensive linemen, he ragdolled offensive linemen. He was a song. I remember watching Reggie White. Everybody remembers Reggie White. He was rest in peace to the Minister of Defense too as well. He was one of the strongest human beings I remember watching playing the game. Couldn't even believe how strong he was with him being able to toss old linemen to the side. Very athletic for a big fella. Could play defensive tackle, play outside defensive end. Hutchinson, NDAMUKONG SUH reminded me a lot of Reggie White. He reminded me of, from the defensive tackle position anyways. But I've never seen a guy that was just so strong when I saw Suh and White. I never thought there would be another guy that I would see as strong as Reggie White, and it was NDAMUKONG SUH. I haven't seen it since Suh. Suh's still, I don't know if he's retired, but he's a guy that is looking for a job, maybe. I think there's been some suitors, but he hasn't taken a job. I don't think he's retired, though. I don't know really what he's doing. Not that he needs the money, but he's a guy that's out there. Now, he made some comments and said, I hope they build around this kid. talking about Aiden Hutchinson. And I love hearing stuff like that because he's still got Detroit Lions on his mind. He's obviously, keeping up with the young kid, and he sees the talent. You got guys coming on social media destroying NDAMUKONG SUH because of the way he left here. Man, he put 5 years here. He put 5 years here. We all wish he would have stayed. We all don't. It all seemed like he didn't want to be here from the get-go, but he did stay here for 5 years. Though I don't really remember him making too many parting shots when he left too. You got people on there going, man, you can take your 15-yard penalties. You can, you were a menace here. You were a problem. You were a bad guy. You were dirty. You were this. You were that. I personally loved the way Suh played. Was he dirty? Sure, he was. He was a throwback. He was an absolute throwback, and he was a guy that didn't take no bull. He didn't take no bull, man. He was born in the wrong era. He was born in the wrong era. Played football in the wrong era, because he was just that type of player. He was mean. He was nasty, and he was phenomenal to boot. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame, 100%. He wasn't the greatest with the media, so maybe that he might not get in first ballot. But from the defensive tackle spot, man, he was just a menace. He was just a menace. And then when he's making comments about guys like Aiden Hutchinson, I see no wrong in it. I don't think there's a wrong in it. Like what's wrong with him saying build around him? He sees the talent. There's no need to get upset about Suh because he left here. This is just what players do. This is what good players do. Pretty much their own fault for not being able to build around certain players. And I'm not saying they didn't really build around Suh, and maybe people took that comment on Twitter like maybe he's taking a shot at the organization, and maybe he is. But there were some nice pieces around Suh, especially in 2000 and 2013, 2014, when they had that great defense in 2014. When it was a top 2 defense going up, and we lost to Dallas there. But we were starting to really build something. And, maybe the way Suh left, it hurt some people, but it's something that, I'm glad we got 5 years out of him. I wish he would have stuck around. We all wish that, but I love the comments. I love that he recognizes talent in Aiden Hutchinson. We all know Aiden Hutchinson's got talent. Well, not all of us, because there's some people that still are calling this kid a bust, which is absolutely incredible. But this guy is just doing. He's breaking some records as a rookie. You know what I mean? He's joining some really good company right here in Suh. Guys like Jim Dorn and Thurman McGaw. Obviously, we're good players. Maybe some of the older subs could tell me a little bit about Jim Dorn and Thurman McGaw, but I'm sure they were pretty good football players. We all know Suh was. So I love the comments from Suh, and there's nothing wrong with telling this organization build around a young man. There's nothing wrong with it. They need to, and it looks like they really haven't really completely done that yet. It's early in Brad Holmes' career, 2 years in. Hutchinson's only been here a year, but you got to go get that kid some help, man. You got to go get him another defensive tackle, and you got to go get him another defensive end. Is Charles Harris the guy? Don't really know. Is Aleem McNeil going to be the guy? The jury's kind of still out, man. He shows a little bit of flash every now and then. Harris, showed his flash in year 1. Year 2, he's been non-existent, and he's been hurt. So they're going to have to add some pieces for Aiden Hutchinson, and I think he's only going to get better. And Suh recognizes that, and I love it, man. I know this is this is a different video, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it because I saw a lot of shade thrown towards NDAMUKONG SUH, and I thought it was a little bit unjust. I didn't really think it made any sense. There was some Woodward Sports comments. Those guys kind of came at him too, which I was a little bit shocked. Just because he was, one of those type of players. He was dirty, he was mean, but he gave his all, man. 36 sacks as a Detroit Lion. Played the run exceptionally well. 3 All-Pros, 5 Pro Bowls overall. I don't understand how you can get mad at NDAMUKONG SUH. I just feel it's more personal than it is professional, because he gave his all out there, man. He gave his all out there, and I love that he recognized a player like Aiden Hutchinson. So, man, let's cut the big fella some slack. Sign him up. bring him over to Detroit. I know it would never happen, but I would love to see. I would love to see him. I'm not going to say mentor, because I don't think NDAMUKONG SUH should really be mentoring anybody with his style of play, especially in 2022. It's just he just was a throwback player. But wouldn't it be nice to see a guy like Suh come in? It's not going to happen, but he could come in and he can, we love the way Hutchinson plays, nonstop motor, got the talent, got the heart, got the drive, got the smarts, because we saw that on the interception to Rodgers. Very smart, read and recognizing that it was going to be a pass instead of going up trying to catch him when he knew he was never going to drop back, picked him off. That's smart football. That's intelligence. So really like to see that, man. And I think we can get a little bit more of a mean streak in that kid. You know what I mean? I don't think he quite has the mean streak down yet. He's 8-9 games in. That's probably going to come, but he's a really nice kid. He's just not a kid that's going to say a lot of bad things about people and do some bad stuff on the field, which is good, but I'd love to see a little bit more of a mean streak in him. And wouldn't it be something, NDAMUKONG SUH getting in his ear week in and week out, daily, and practice? I think it would be cool, but we all know it's not going to happen. This team is nowhere close to making a push, and if Suh was to make a choice, he's going to go to a team that's going to make a push for a playoffs. Like I see him going to a team like Buffalo Bills or something like that, or the Kansas City Chiefs or something like that. You know what I mean? He's going to be one of those guys that's going to go there if he plays at all this year. But I think it would be something pretty cool. But it's, we can dream, can't we? But that's it, guys. That's the video, man. It's kind of a little bit of a, a little bit of a filler video, but that's okay. I just really wanted to talk about it because Suh's one of my favorite players, man. He really is. I don't care what anybody says, how dirty he was. He was fun to watch, man. The way he used to beat up on people. So that's it, guys. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe on the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, get all my videos. Don't forget to like, comment. What do you guys think, man? Suh to Detroit. You upset about Suh making those comments? I think it's great, man, that he recognizes the talent that we have here in this young man. So thanks a lot, guys. Go Lions, one pride. Boom.